Second $4.10, and Mr. Naslow, there was no third dividend because there were only 7 starters. 6.10 and 2.90, 4.10 for second, no third dividend as we take a break from Rose Hill on Golden Slipper Day 1997.
In the straight, 300 to go, and Manikato moved up to take the lead from Black Opaque. The Victorian Manikato raced clear of Black Opaque at the 200, about 3 lengths away. Jewel Flight under the whip. Smoky Jack is running home well. The others are struggling, but Manikato is clear. Out of the Victorian Golden Slipper, he's stopping quickly. Smoky Jack is flying home, but too late, and Manikato won the Slipper.
Yeah, we were spoilt in the late 70s with Luskin Star in 77 and then Manikato in 78. The dividends again on the previous race here at Rose Hill today, the Neville Selwood Stakes. Number 7, Cedo Stayer, $6.10 and $2.90. Number 4, Cake and A, $4.10. Number 3, Mr. Neslow, no third dividend. The Quinella paid $31.90 on the combination of 4 and 7 or 7 and 4, and the trifecta 743 paid $153.10. Okay, the early totes are up for the Golden Slipper Stakes, the big one. Or is there any race that can be bigger than octagonal? But the Golden Slipper coming up, the 41st running, number 1 General Nadim at $3.40. He's favourite. Guineas is $10 on the tote, Knowledge at $8 and Counter at $5. $26 for Sports, Fraud at $61, one of the roughies. He needed rain and it never came. Number 7 Decide, unbeaten in 3 starts, he's showing at $17. Special Dane at $34, his White Alley will be a problem. Tricove, a roughie at $81. You Called Sir, gee whiz, should be 3 times that price, $81. Rose of Danehill, third favourite on the tote, about $5.50, and the shortest of the fillies. All the Chat at $51, Regal Chamber at $34, Vocalist at $41, and Nimble Feet at $31. Okay, 15 runners in the slipper, and at this moment we're going to switch to Simon O'Donnell, and he's got a very special guest lined up.
Yeah, I certainly have, Ken, and with me Scott Miller, a silver medalist at the Olympics, but here today, mate, more as a Bachelor of the Year contestant?
No, actually, ambassador for the STC Slipper Carnival, but yeah.
And Bachelor of the Year, I might add. Mate, you obviously got a bit of a liking for the racehorse. I've seen you at the track a few times.
Yeah, I love racing, and it's been my blood for a few years now. And you come out here, you see the horses go around, and it's sort of get addicted to it. And I love this time of the year. And last year was the first time at the Spring Carnival down in Melbourne, so that was fun. Getting
on to your professional way of life, the swimming, a silver medal at the Olympics. Any regrets? Did you, after you'd won the silver, was there something you could have done that stretched you to the goal? Oh,
there always is. You always go back in hindsight and think, if I had have not stepped in, those mornings that I did, and had to stretch a bit more and had done a little bit more training and been a little bit lighter, a little bit stronger, and that sort of gets to you a bit. But you sort of have to let it go and hopefully come back in 2000 and win then.
Scott, since the Olympics, what's happened then? You've had the Pan Pacs just recently.
Yeah, I had the Pan Pac trials, last week, and I had a bit of a break after Atlanta, and I got back into training, and I did pretty well, and I did what I had to do and made the team, and I got 6 months until Pan Pacs now, so it's a good preparation.
There's 4 years between Olympiads. Does Sydney look a mile away for you at the moment?
Oh, not really, because it's a 4-year cycle. They've got Pan Pacs this year, World Championships next year, as well as Commonwealth Games, and Pan Pacs again in '99, and before you know it, 2000's around. So we're racing every year. We're racing internationally every year, so it sort of keeps you keen.
Mate, getting back into racing, time's getting away. We've got the biggest 2-year-old race in the world coming up. Yeah. You're a punting man. What do you like?
I like them all. I think I'm going to beat the General because I have the last few starts, but not with a lot of confidence. I'm still going to back it.
Well, I think I might get on it with you. So, Kenny, that's the good oil from down here. General Nadim from the Olympian.
Okay, yeah, the silver medalist is going to go for gold in the $2 million Golden Slipper coming up in a few moments' time. Somewhere today there's a Brisbane racing syndicator who knows he bought the Golden Slipper favourite but gave him back. General Nadim is bidding to become the first Queenslander to win Australia's premier 2-year-old race. Leslie Tapsell, another Queenslander, reports that General has emerged from an unlikely background to stand on the threshold of racing history.
He's sired by a lesser-known stallion out of a mother who never even raced. He was sold in Queensland for only $20,000, had a nick on his leg, failed a vet's examination and was promptly handed back to the man who bred him. The story of General Nadim is hardly one for the thoroughbred purists, but it has all the earmarks of a rags to riches classic.
I guess the real story started at the Magic Million, where we sold the horse and subsequently the people elected not to buy it, and it came home. And we sat and looked at it for a few weeks and thought, well, we'll break it in. And the minute we decided to break it in, it was obvious it was pretty special.
General Nadim on the outside's gone straight past, chased the chick at the 200, wanted to duck in, but General Nadim raced away, chased the chick second, then Chariots of Fire, Sea Whiz from a long way back, but it's all General Nadim, and General Nadim raced away and defeated...
That first-up win proved no fluke. In just his second start, General Nadim became the fastest two-year-old over 1,000 metres in Queensland racing history.
On the outside, but General Nadim, he burned away at the 200 metres mark. He's 5 in front of Hardway. Turpentine's getting home and it's all over. Buckhead weakening the Northern Paris, but it's all General Nadim, and General Nadim's gapped them. He's 6 in front of Turpentine and pricking the ears.
Much of the credit belongs to young Queenslander Peter Moody, foreman of Sydney trainer Bill Mitchell's Eagle Farm stables. When Ashdown went looking for a home for the General, Moody was in the right place at the right time.
So we went to Hawkes first, because the young fellow there, Eric, had been out to our stud and I was impressed with him. So he was the first cab on the rank and he was on holidays. So we went down the road, because the next one on the list was the Mitchell stable with Peter Moody, and he came out with a big grin and said, "I'm a boy from Charleville." I thought, well, he's got me.
Well, we never ever sort of ran him against the clock until we took him to the races, because the horse went relatively untrained into his first 2 runs and just did that on raw ability, which indicated that we had a very smart colt. But he was always a terrific mover from the day one.
General Nadim is now unbeaten in 5 starts, including the Magic Millions.
He's got the millions, won the General. And
history says the winner of that race won't take the slipper, but confidence north of the border is high.
You know, he's done everything that's asked of him. There was the doubters before the Magic Millions. He proved them wrong. He went to Sydney. He stood his doubters up there the other day with a brilliant win. And he's improved again on that, so I don't think they'll be doubting him too much come Saturday afternoon.
Jockey Mick Dittman is the General's #1 fan. It's been 11 years since the Enforcer won his 3rd slipper, but this time he simply won't hear of being beaten.
Well, if he's in front of the furlong, you can go and collect. It's all over.
Really?
In my opinion, it is.
Yeah, that's Meg. He's getting a bit old. He hasn't won a Group 1 for a couple of years. So, and General Nadim, well, he hasn't seen any pressures yet, but come to the slipper, I think he'll be back to Queensland very quick.
You wouldn't call General Nadim a champion?
No, sir.
Still to be proved?
I'd say so, yes. I don't think he's a champion.
The criticism hasn't ruffled Mitchell. With the horse now under his direct care in Sydney, he's refusing to be drawn into the argument.
You get a lot of knockers out there. I mean, we're not here to defend the horse or to jump up and down and tell you how good he is. All I'm saying is that he'll be out there Saturday as fit as well as he can be and well as he can be. And I happen to think that the horse, you know, is very, very talented, and I'm sure that he is as good as any of the other colts in there. But you know, I mean, they've still got to perform on the day. It's the toughest race any of them have been in. So, you know, a couple of them will wilt.
Generally, Mitchell is a man of few words. We mic'd him up throughout the General's Sydney debut, an effortless win in the Todman Slipper Trial 2 weeks ago. Now this was the extent of Mitchell's race commentary.
It's the one on the outside, but they ain't going to catch this boy.
But General Nadim leads the troops home in a canter.
No fanfare, no stage show, just results and a quiet confidence. Mitchell makes no apologies for his approach. You're known as a man of few words. Is it likely to change after the slipper?
No.
Should you win it?
No. What can you say? What can you say?
We won't have any, like, Gay Waterhouse dashing across the enclosure, waving and laughing and carrying on, none of that?
I'll have to wait and see. Let's hope we're in a situation where I have the option.
This is his first slipper start, and Mitchell concedes he's nervous. He scaled the heights of Group 1 success before, among his victories an Epsom with From the Planet and a VRC Derby with Stylish Century. But victory in the Golden Slipper would open more doors than ever before.
I'm a little nervous, but I'm not, you know. I always take the attitude that if everything's in place, well, there isn't any more you can do.
Yeah, I've won the Golden Slipper about 20 times in the last 2 weeks. And I've made so many speeches that when I get there, I probably won't be able to think of what I've got to say.
Probably neither will the Brisbane syndicator, who gave back the slipper favourite.
A business decision that went wrong, and, it could have been me. It's just the way it goes. Someone has bad luck, someone has good luck. Someone wins, someone loses. On Saturday, we might be the losers. And I'll have to go and say, good on you, Jack, or good on you, Bill, or good on you, Clary. And if it has to happen, I'll say it. I don't think so.
Terrific contrast of comments here and spare a thought for that owner, but I suppose that's racing. Well, we'll see if the General leads them home in about half an hour or so right here on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
Racing's FBI have managed to unearth a slipper winner every year since 1993. And who's game to say 1997 will be any different? This year, the Freedmans have 2 starters, including Blue Diamond winner Knowledge. He's drawn wide, but will be rattling home, and now has Greg Hall on board.
But Sports is nicely clear from Rose of Danehill in the final stages. Rose of Danehill, and on the outside, Knowledge. Knowledge on the outside grabs the Knowledge has got up to score.
Yeah, he'll be ridden for luck. That's the way we planned to do it in the Blue Diamond when he drew wide. So drawing wide on Saturday, we weren't too perturbed about that because he was always going to get back.
It's generally thought this year's colts are stronger than the fillies, but the exception could be Rose of Danehill. Second in the Blue Diamond, she won the Riesling trial 2 weeks ago and drops 3 kilos from that run.
Rose of Danehill has burst to the lead close to home, and she's drawing away.
The improvement in Rose of Danehill in the last week has been tremendous.
Yeah, it's been terrific. I mean, I sort of equated to Merlin last year. You love to bring horses into state and have them really peak the week of the main race, and I think really with both of ours, they're appearing to be doing that, which is great for us.
The Freedman's holding a pair of aces in Rose of Danehill, Go Danehill, and Knowledge as he aims for his 5th consecutive victory in the race. Right now, Michael Maher is with leading Sydney bookmaker Colin Tidy.
Colin Tidy, I believe that you're in front so far, but will you be in front after the slipper?
I certainly hope so. I'm only marginally in front at the moment, but the slipper will tell the tale there. Actually, at the moment, they've been backing General Nidium at 9-4 N2s. Encounter's very heavily supported at 4-1, and Knowledge is the other one which I've been giving 8s, and they've been backing that quite well. At this stage, there's no money for Guineas, which is 9-2 at the moment, and Rose of Danehill, which is 4s. There's quite a lack of money for that. There's been actually, for anyone that backs a roughie, there's been a lot of money for Tricove at 100-1, so that might be a value horse for the punters, but I personally don't think it has much chance.
So you trust?
Well, I thought we were going to see a grown man cry. That might come if the favourite General Nadeem wins.
It seems the heat is on out the back there, doesn't it?
Exactly right. OK, Simon, have you settled on your selection yet?
Yes, I have. I'm going to stick with General Nadeem, the toppy. Finally, he's tipped me over the edge, and I'll just go one out with him. The best of the fillies, of course, I think Rose of Danehill, but I'll stick with the General.
Wayne, what do you like?
I think Encounter's had the right preparation. Clary Connors gets his horses ready on the right day, and his form's very good. Shane Doy knows how to win a slipper, so I've got to stick with them. Rose of Danehill, probably the danger. The fillies get the weight advantage, comes in all right, and General Nadeem's, I think he's a worthy favourite.
Yeah, Wayne, I agree with you. I think Encounter will win, and another top chance is Guineas. Guineas, of course, has had 6 starts for 6 wins. He'll be ridden by the all-conquering Darren Beedman. Here's Darren with Michael Maher.
Darren, I gather that you haven't been very well this week.
I've been laid up in bed for the past 3 or 4 days and with the flu, and had to forego rides Tuesday and Wednesday, but I got right for today, and it's been quite a fruitful day up to date.
Well, you're on Guineas in the slipper. You're going to need all your strength for that ride, particularly from barrier 11.
Yes, he's a little bit of an awkward gait, but he might have drawn out there for a reason. And he's a very classy galloper, and you know, he's running just as good as time as the other 2-year-olds throughout his lead-up races, so I'll give him a great chance.
Yeah, Darren Beedman, he's already won a couple of races today. Perhaps he'll make it a third in the Golden Slipper on Guineas. There's all the jockeys. They're parading out there before they mount on their horses, and I think the course announcer, Mr. Gary Gray, is going to introduce them to the public shortly. We might just be able to sneak in a tote update. TAB number 1 is General Nadeem, a clear-cut favourite, showing at $3.30. $9.50 Guineas, $8 Knowledge, $4.80 out to $5 now Encounter, $26 for Sports, $61 for Fraud, $17 Decide, $34 Special Dane, $100 to 1 Tri-Cove. You Called Sir at $81, should be longer. $5.50 Rose of Danehill, $51 All That Chat, $34 Regal Chamber, $41 Vocalist, and $31 Nimble Feet. Okay, let's go over to Gary Gray introducing the jockeys for the Golden Slipper.
Almost 2 years ago, chasing a Group 1 win today, the Enforcer, one of Australia's favourite jockeys, Mick Dittman. Riding number 2 Guineas for the Ingham stable. Yes, he's ridden 2 winners today. He's ridden 12 Group 1 winners this season, 11 last season. Darren Beedman. The horse that won the Blue Diamond, Knowledge, trained by Lee Friedman and ridden by Greg Hall. The G from Melbourne. He won the Golden Slipper last year on Merlin, and he's back this year to win it on Knowledge for Lee Friedman again. Number 4, Encounter. The man who's your hero today. He has ridden 9 Group 1 winners this season. Here he is, Billy Idol, Shane Dye. Number 5 is Sports. The man who's making his name again here on Moowad with 3 group wins in a row. The Iceman from New Zealand, Grant Cooksley. Number 6, Fraud. This jockey, his last Group 1 win was in 1994. The Stradbroke, Kevin Moses. Rodney Quinn, who won the Group 1 George Ryder Stakes on Command Module, rides Decide. Rodney Quinn. Number 8 is Special Dane, ridden by top Group 1 rider, formerly of New Zealand, now domiciled here in Australia. When the big races are around, so is Yorkie, Brian York. Number 9 is Tri-Cove, ridden by the man who won this race 2 years ago on Flying Spur. He's off to Dubai to ride Juggler tomorrow, Glenn Boss. Number 10, You Called Sir. He's in form, he won the last race. He's Australia's international jockey, the former babe of Australian racing, the super apprentice, Brett Thompson. Number 11, Rose of Danehill, ridden by top Group 1 rider from Melbourne, Stephen King. He had a great association with Let's Elope. He had a great autumn carnival here in Sydney last year, Stephen King. All the Chat from New Zealand, trained by Dave O'Sullivan, ridden by his son Lance, New Zealand's top rider, Lance O'Sullivan. Number 13, Regal Chamber. This jockey won the Metropolitan on Hula Flight, Chris Monkey Munce. Number 14, Vocalist. Larry Cassidy, been riding in top form in Hong Kong, back here for the big races in Sydney, back home where he belongs, former Kiwi, brother to Jim, Larry Cassidy. And number 15, Nimble Feet. Bounced back last week, this rider, to win on Intergaze, a Group 1 event, Craig Carmody. Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, there they are, the jockeys, half the act for the 1997 Golden Slipper Stakes. And the other half, of course, are the horses. They're now parading, and we might pick them up. Leading the parade will be TAB number 1, General Nadeem from Brisbane. And, of course, he's unbeaten in 5 starts. Simon O'Donnell, he'll be ridden by Mick Dittman, and he's trained, of course, by Bill Mitchell, really in partnership with his Brisbane stable manager, Peter Moody.
He looks super in the mounting yard, General Nadeem. I don't think you could get him any fitter. I don't think Bill could get him looking any better. You see him in the sun there. He's absolutely gleaming. He's going to run a big race.
And there's the General. He's only a little fella, but it's all Class A. Number 2 is Guineas, the best chance of the Hawke stable, trained by John Hawkes, ridden by Darren Beedman. Wayne Harris?
Yeah, Guineas is unbeaten in his 6 starts, up to date, and he's got an awkward barrier. That's a problem with him, but he's got Darren Beedman there to guide him, and that's the best advantage he's got, I think.
He'll go straight forward, you think, Wayne?
He's got to go forward from that alley. If he tries to ride a race, I think he's going to be caught 3 wide, and he's got to go forward and try to slot in somewhere.
Greg Hall rides number 3, Knowledge. Knowledge races in the same interests, or close similar interests, I should say, one of the same part owners as last year's winner Merlene, and that's Mr. Lloyd Williams. He's trained by Lee Friedman. Simon.
Yes, Greg Hall, barrier 14. I don't think he has to be a genius, or anyone has to be a genius. The horse will probably drop back and will be finishing on strong in the end.
Yeah, you'll be looking for him at the finish. There's Encounter, trained by Clary Connors, who's won 2 slippers, ridden by Shane Dye, who's won 4.
Yeah, this horse looks a treat. He's my pick in the race. He's had the right preparation. He's coming right on the right day. He's got Shane Dye in the saddle. Clary Connors has won the slipper a couple of times. Shane's going for a record today, so he looks beautiful.
There's another of the Hawks team, Sports, who'll be ridden by the Iceman Grant Cooksley.
Hasn't really been in calculations for this race for a horse that's had such consistent form during his 2-year-old year, but every time he's been put really under the hammer, he seems to be a length or 2 short.
Trained here at Rose Hill is number 6, Fraud, trained by Brian Guy, and he'll be ridden by Kevin Moses.
Yeah, that's probably the only thing going for Fraud, being trained here on the track, but he's a wet tracker to my liking, and the clouds were a bit ominous earlier, but they've gone away, and this track's very hard today, and it won't suit him at all.
His best win, of course, was a Canberra Black Opal Stakes on a heavy track. Following him along is another of the unbeaten horses, number 7, Decide. He too is trained by John Hawkes, 3 starts for 3 wins, and he'll be ridden by Rodney Quinn.
Yeah, son of Military Plume. Not what you would call a normal preparation for a Golden Slipper race. We haven't seen a lot of him in the big races leading in. Won his last start at Newcastle, I should say, the Coca-Cola. It was a Group 3 race. I'd still say wait and see. I don't think he's going to match up to the goodies.
No, he can only win if they go too hard up front. There's number 8, Special Dane from Queensland, trained at Toowoomba by Darryl Gollan, and he'll be ridden by the pride of Queensland, Brian York.
He's drawn very wide, this horse, but just watching him lately, I think they've been riding him up quite close. He's been chasing the likes of Guineas and General Nadim and these horses, and I think he's going to have to ride him back in the field. He'll have to switch over behind them, and it might be the way to ride him. He could be a surprise back. He could be running on at the finish.
I agree with you, Wayne. He could be a roughie with a real chance. Number 9 is a stablemate of General Nadim. There he is. His name is Tricove. He'll be ridden by Glenn Boss, who won the slipper on Flying Spur, and like the General, he's trained by Bill Mitchell.
Yes, Colin Tidy said before there's money for him at 100 to 1. He could be a little bit of a smoky, but his form leading in doesn't look good enough to match the top 4 or 5.
The longest horse, the longest priced horse with bookmakers is You Called Sir, TAB number 10. He's ridden by Brent Thompson and he's trained by Max Lees. Wayne, hard to see him winning.
It really is. He's got a lot of improvement to come forward with, and I don't think he can do it, and I just hope he stays out of the good chances, stays out of their way and doesn't cause him any trouble.
One of the best back runners, particularly by big interstate punters, is TAB number 11, Rose of Danehill. She's trained by Lee Friedman and she'll be ridden by top Melbourne rider Stephen King.
Yeah, the second of the Friedman horses in this race. They like their horses to train on, particularly when they go into state. We've heard Michael Friedman and Lee Friedman say it earlier. They believe this filly has. She's got to be one of the top chances.
The Kiwis next along, TAB number 12, All the Chat. She came to Sydney and won the Group 3 Sweet Embrace Stakes. Now she aims for the big one. She's ridden by Lance O'Sullivan and she's trained by Lance's dad, Dave O'Sullivan.
Yeah, she's drawn a little bit awkwardly, and I just don't think her form's good enough to really think that she could get away with the race today. She's going to need a lot of luck, and I don't think she'll get it.
Enough said. The next one along, number 13, is a very speedy filly. Could be the early leader. Her name is Regal Chamber. There she is, a flashy chestnut. She'll be ridden by Chris Muntz, and she's trained by Bill Prain. From barrier 13, Simon, I think she's just got to go for a life and try and lead.
Yeah, certainly is. She's a front-running filly, and to get over from there, she's going to need a lot of luck to save some energy to finish off the race.
Number 14 is Vocalist, another filly. She was beaten on a heavy track in the Black Opal. Her previous form was sound. She's trained a lot by John Hawkes, and the 4th of his runners, and she'll be ridden by Larry Cassidy.
I know John Hawkes likes this filly. He thinks she's one of his better runners, and she's drawn well. If you forget a Black Opal run, which was on a wet track, and she ran into a fair bit of trouble that day, she's got some chance.
Ron Quinton holds the riding record with Shane Dye at 4 Golden Slipper winners apiece. He's now training, and there's his first Golden Slipper starter as a trainer. Number 15, Nimble Feet, and Craig Carmody will ride her for Ron.
Yes, there's some little whispers about the daughter of Zoffany this morning that she'll run a good race. Again, she gave beaten by Rose of Danehill in the Riesling here a couple of weeks ago. She was beaten 3/4 a length, possibly a full length. I don't know whether she's going to quite match up today, but possibly an outside chance.
Okay, there you have it. They're the 15 runners in the Golden Slipper Stakes. We'll take a break and then we'll be back for the action on the wide world of sports. Rose of Danehill. There was a slight hold-up as Rose of Danehill was reshod. She loosened one of her aluminium racing plates, but now she's back in order. The farrier has got her right. The jockey, Stephen King, has remounted, and she's on her way to the start. Now, a lot of the jockeys, a lot of the trainers here at Rosehill today might think they're in charge. They might think they're the boss. But the real boss is the chairman of stewards. His name is Ray Murray, and he addressed the Golden Slipper jockeys before the race.
There's no place in racing for people who want to ride to their own rules. When I read headlines such as this, I'll do what it takes. Now, that concerns me. I think it provides fodder for any half-smart lawyer if an injury is caused or interference is caused in a race to make $50,000 look like chicken feed. Now, we want this matter taken seriously. If someone can't ride within these rules, this rule book, now's the time, throw your colours on the table. The 7 boys sitting in the room that would love your ride. If that's not the case, if those comments are in fact some misdirected bravado, that's fine, we'll leave it as it is. But if not, the rules are simple. If you're not 2 lengths clear, you don't shift in. If your horse shifts in, you stop them riding and straighten immediately. Now, we just give you the usual reminder. Everyone knows the toll. The stakes are high, $2 million race, penalties are high. Penalties are at the top of the scale. We give that warning. And fines are not restricted to people who win prize money. Fines can be levied from first to last. Fines will be levied on the degree of the seriousness of the interference. All right, we wish everyone the best, and we hope the best horse wins.
And that tells us we've got the Golden Slipper just about to get underway. Before that, let's hear from Shane Dye on race tactics.
Race 6 of the day, the Group 1 Tui's Golden Slipper Stakes over 1,200 metres. Now, barriers are very important. You've got to draw in. You don't want to draw wide. If you draw wide, you've got to get in, and it's very hard to do. Regal Chamber is out at 13. She's going to go fast and probably lead. Sports will go forward. There's no doubt about that. Mick Dittman, well, he'll be running 3rd or 4th on General Nadim. The thing to do in the Golden Slipper is to keep out of trouble. Doesn't matter where you are as long as you're not in trouble. I'll be following General Nadim probably 6th, 7th. Major thing to do is to get into the clear at the 600. Before the turn, you want to be going forward into the clear. It is very important. Look at Greg Hall last year on Merlin. He was doing that. There's 4 good hopes in this race. Rose of Danehill, the horse I'm on, Encounter, General Nadim, and of course, Knowledge. He'll be hard to beat too. He'll be storming home late, and watch out for Guinness. If he can get a good run in the race, he'll also be storming home.
I'll be watching out for Encounter and Shane Dye. A last-minute quick tote update. General Nadim $3.10, Guineas $8, Knowledge $7.50, Encounter is $4.80. The other one in the market's right down here, number 11, Rose of Danehill. She's actually showing at $6.10. We go over behind the barrier. Most of the horses should be there already. And as we pick up vision, there's Shane Dye on Encounter. And over there with them is Harry Troy. Harry, how does Encounter look?
Encounter looks very, very well, Ken, as do a number of these runners. All turned out in tip-top order. Ken, I'm going to go for General Nadim. He's done everything that's been asked of him. I know he mightn't have had the real pressure that'll be on in this race, but he'll do me. He looks very, very well. He's about to go on now, General Nadim. He's my selection. I think to the Shane Dye Mount Encounter is my second pick. And for third, well, you could have a lot of them for third, but I'm going for Knowledge, the Greg Hall mount. I led him around to the barriers. He looks very, very well. Big, strong horse, and I think he'll be powering home at the end.
Harry, General Nadim's only a little fella. He looks well, though?
He certainly looks very, very well, Ken. He's only a little fella, but, geez, well put together. He's a very powerful-looking little fellow, and I think he'll get a lovely run from gate 4. And, of course, there's no better big race rider than Mick Dittman.
Going in there's TAB number 4 is Encounter. Wayne Harris, that's the horse you'd like to ride if you were riding?
I think so. He's trained right up for the day. He looks $1 million. He's ready to run a big race.
And Simon O'Donnell, you're still with the General?
I'm still with the General, Ken.
OK, there's Special Dane just getting a few bits of sweat wiped off his shoulders and his chest by his jockey Brian York and by the barrier attendant. Special Dane is trained up in Toowoomba in Queensland by Darryl Gollan, and as Wayne said earlier, he'll be ridden quietly, but if there's any flaw in those up front, he could be charging home. OK, they're all in the barrier for the slipper. We've got the champ to call the action, John Tapp.
Thank you, Ken. All set. Starter Billy Dale, Tui's stand, and they're set and ready for dispatch in the Tui's Golden Slipper for 97.
They're off in the slipper and a little slow.